Wait! The instructions say if we finish the game, it'll all go away. We better do it, or Aunt Nora's gonna pitch a fit. Roll!
Get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at the most imaginative movie of the year. Strap yourselves in. We're going on Jumanji.
It's Bonnie Hunt, ladies and gentlemen, from the movie Jim Johnny. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the movie Jum Jammy.
Jumanji!
Jumanji, that's right. Jumanji is the lower valley of above Bombay. It's a Philippine word meaning the man who runs the metal detector at the airport. Come on. Dear God, your wife has Jumanji. A tendency to put on riding boots and nothing else. Run!
"12-year-old Alan Parrish is about to discover an ancient game that will change the course of his life.
Jumanji. You wanna play?
Unaware of Jumanji's awesome power, Alan rolls the dice.
Alan, look. In the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8. What's happening to you?
It's basically the concept that this game is magical, and that once you start, you have to finish it in order to make everything return back to normal. If you roll a 5 or an 8, you actually enter the game and you're in the jungle world till someone else rolls a 5 or an 8.
Little Alan Parrish. He just vanished about 25 years ago.
26 years later, Judy and Peter find Jumanji just as enticing and just as dangerous.
And they find the game board, and then they start to play. It just feels very ghost-like to Judy and Peter. Are you Alan Parrish?
Oh my gosh.
What happened to you?
Never shaved before.
And action!
Oh, well, give me the playback on that right away.
Robin Willians, Bonnie Hunt, Kirsten Dunst, and Bradley Pierce star in Jumanji, a magical adventure that goes far beyond your wildest imagination.
It's not my turn.
Whose turn is it?
Sarah Whittle? Alan. 26 years ago, you played a game with a little boy down the street.
Whoa, God, sir! Alan, I have spent over 2,000 hours in therapy convincing myself that this exists.
Sarah has spent a lot of her time indoors since the incident.
Alan spent a lot of time in the jungle.
Since the incident.
So,
We've both gone similar paths in terms of isolation, and psychologically you could look at them as parallel lives in different dimensions. Wow.
Jumanji puts its players in a dangerous double bind. Each roll of the dice packs a punch that takes the players to the brink of disaster, but the destruction won't stop until the game is over.
Run! It's a stampede! The game!
you just think, well, what could possibly happen after this? And then something bigger happens.
What is that? Well, there's some parts of the movie that you'll just crack up. And there's some parts where you'll just be going, oh no.
David Alan Grier and Bebe Neuwirth bring their comedic talents to Jumanji.
Oh, my car. A monkey steal my patrol car. No one knows what to make of anything, you know. I mean, it's really, really strange.
Shooting Jumanji inspired the filmmakers to reach for the magic that lies in the uncharted territory called imagination.
Jurassic Park changed everything as far as effects go. You know, I mean, I think it's a whole new game now.
As we went to meet Joe to do the film, it was the week that Jurassic Park came out. And I think one of the things that really sparked him to the project was realizing that everything that was called for in the script was now visually possible.
Give it a little more strength in the jaw. Without a doubt, I think Jumanji is the biggest interrelation of real-life animals, animatronics, puppets, and computer-generated imagery that's been seen on film.
The award-winning children's book by Chris Van Allsburg presented endless possibilities, which became realities in the hands of the best special effects artists in the business.
I mean, you can't help but see giant spiders and go, thank you, check.
That's right around the time that the earthquake happens.
Just big bats, you know.
That's, of course, after the quicksand.
There are bugs, everything, whoa.
Just after the monsoon. But you know what? My hair looks terrific through the whole thing.
The next round, the setup. Thank you. Come on down. I'm a schizophrenic. One of us will help you.
What's this in the Embalmers Academy? So sad that Daddy worked at the mill and this is all that's made.
No, we didn't get paid for this. I always feel great on day one. On day 104, I actually was found face down in a ditch and had to be shipped back to San Francisco.
First of all, you have to have someone who has a real understanding of effects. I mean, he storyboards everything, so he knows what he wants from this stuff, because he understands this stuff. He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Finish the gaming here. Van Pelt.
You miserable coward! Come back and face me like a man!
And I really wanted to see what it'd be like to be in one of those action-adventure movies. This is it for a little furry boy like myself. This is probably the closest thing I'll get to.
Piece of cake.
We tend to bounce ideas off each other. We'll look at things in terms of what's required from the story to forward the story, and in terms of the special effects that have to occur. The proportions of the house weren't based on proportions of actual Georgian architecture, but in fact on what some of the events that occurred in the house, a space within which fantastic things happen.
Alan, ready?
There is no ready.
They grow much faster than bamboo. Take care or they'll come after you.
Great.
Tell me this isn't happening.
Oh, it is. Stay away from the walls. Don't touch anything. No quick movements.
So this was a first model and was a very useful tool in really deciding how much vining we were going to have and how this whole environment was affected by these vines.
When we first got into it, we didn't realize the magnitude of what it was going to end up being. We had a huge crew in our shop of over 40 people.
Is that the Pax paint you use?
Yeah. We tend to look for inspiration wherever we can in our carnivorous plant pod. The origin of that was kind of interesting. I was dropping my oldest child off at her school, and there in the parking lot was this weird little thorny seed pod.
Action. Okay, and cut.
Jumanji, it doesn't necessarily take you into its world, it brings the world to you. And it lets the world of Jumanji invade your town.
No flashes. Sarah and the kids, they go into town and they seem to see stampedes of wild animals running through the town.
We're trying to dodge all these people and get through town when we realize that we've created all of this. Elephants running down the street, and you name it, it's there in the town.
The creative minds at Industrial Light and Magic specialize in letting their imaginations run wild. They turn back time to bring dinosaurs to life in Jurassic Park, but the computer-generated images required for Jumanji were far more complex.
It's so complicated and dense, you can't really see very much unless you zoom in. Funnest part of the project, always throwing stuff back and forth and talking about design, and then getting down to, okay, let's storyboard this stuff out and see what we really have. And when we put it all down, we came back here and looked at it and we said, wow, all these different sequences. It was pretty daunting from the start.
As strange as it is, it's still so much fun because in each scene there's some effect.
Well, it's like the old, what if you don't make it like the old movies? How many Kimasabi? Many buffalo coming.
When you read the story, you immediately realize there is a gigantic and awesome production challenge in this film, which is you have to create a stampede inside a house.
With dinosaurs, we had a little leeway because people didn't know how they moved and didn't know what they really looked like. But people can go to the zoo, so, you know, it makes your job that much harder.
Run, you fools!
There's a full animal stampede. It was an open call that day, so we had elephants, rhinos, zebras, a couple of wombats. Warthogs were late. They had a 5 o'clock call, but they came at 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africa on Ice is proud to present.
Look, it's Banzai Africa. You know, it's always when you're doing those things where something could go wrong that you have to be careful.
You're great.
I'm fast. I can't believe we did that on take.
We'd shoot the side with Robin running out of the library, and then the effects guys actually built a big steel rhino and rammed it through that wall for us.
When you see the blue horn, that means it's right. Sun speed, Mark.
Wall, action! And that was the rhino's last shot.
We take those 2 shots, and we end up compositing Robin in the shot and keep him right in there in the middle of the action.
Wow. There haven't been that many effects where you have to hallucinate it or actually imagine it. There's just a few. You find yourself going home, how was work? I don't know.
I always had this terrible fear that I'm reacting to something small, and then when it's actually put into the film, it'll be a giant, you know, gargantuan thing, and I'll be going, oh.
It wasn't that hard to act when you're really scared and you have to pretend you're scared.
I would come to work and go, what happens to me this time? Oh, the vine snatches my car. Okay, great, gotcha.
Wait!
Now what?
Stop! Wait, stop!
Is there a problem, ma'am?
Oh, can I have a ride home?
Where do you live?
Jefferson Street, the old parish place.
Do you have children?
Oh my God, what happened?
Now they've got this whole set they built, and it all shakes because of an earthquake, and the whole floor splits.
This is a complete model that we use to really accurately plan the shots in the attic scene, and the earthquake scene especially. It'll look much better in the film.
Rock climbing for the totally inept. I think I'm omniphobic, which sounds like you're afraid of just a magazine. But no, what are you afraid of? Science magazines that are overly glossy. I'm afraid of heights, spiders, rhinoceros stampedes, but I would think heights more than anything. That's probably the worst. Hey, that's not a good idea.
I've done a lot of my own stunts, which has been exciting. But whenever you see Sarah on the screen, she's a little heavy. That's not me. It's body double.
That was one of the more difficult sequences to design. Jim had a great idea that basically saved the day. He said, why don't we just take the set we have when we're finished with it and cut it in half.
I'll be off camera to help you.
No, stay.
Stay?
Stay,
Okay.
yeah. It's more interesting for the folks at home to have you with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just be here as security.
And by the folks at home, I mean my own family.
We're going to go in here, and together, we're going to sit down, we're going to finish that game. No matter what. Suddenly, I feel right at home.
every month at the quarter moon, there'll be a monsoon in your lagoon. Monsoon. Well, at least we're inside.
Yeah, right.
I think the stuff with the monsoon, that was the most exciting thing to shoot. I mean, it was one of those things where you didn't have to act a lot.
We have built this amazing thing. Please, join us. Come on.
We had to build a house that we could flood with 7 feet of water for the monsoon sequence.
Look at the good side. It's a fixer-upper.
Oh, the wallpaper just looks so different in the book on the sample. But the basement doesn't flood.
The crocodile had to work in water, and that's something that really hasn't been done yet. With an animatronic creature to actually put it in the water and still expect it to splash around with Robin Williams riding on its back.
It's also great when you actually do a good take, and Joe did. Good boy. And the stick, and we jumped over the stick. Sometimes I got a little bit, I didn't know why they had to do that. After a good take, when I did the hoop thing, then I realized I'd done well. Good take, Jumanji.
The table! Beer! Get out of the water!
Not a fun thing when that suitcase comes to life. No.
It's my fault, isn't it?
You always say I cheat.
Bonnie.
Exit, stage left, even.
Here we go. Oh, no.
Act natural.
Highway 9 and proceed east up Open Street.
Hey!
Hide your game.
I don't believe this. Every time there's trouble, I run into you.
Me? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I'm taking you in.
It has certain elements of like It's a Wonderful Life in the sense of if you can get through it all, you might be able to change it back and do it right again.
What is this about? I know you know.
You wouldn't believe me even if I told you, Carl.
Wait a minute. How did you know my name is Carl?
I know a lot more than that.
It's me, Alan.
He got to come back and discover what the world is because he wasn't around anymore.
Jumanji, which is a French word meaning you change. I change from the beginning being a boy who is very much afraid of everything to becoming a man who is very much afraid of everything. And part of his growing up is to deal with it.
26 years ago, we started playing a little game. And now, we're all gonna sit down and we're gonna finish it. You think monkeys, mosquitoes, and lions are bad? That's just the beginning. I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares. Things you can't even imagine. Things you can't even see.
As it gets closer to the end, things get more bizarre and much more outrageous.
The minute where the dice are in one of our hands and we're about to roll them, we know that something is waiting for us in this game.
Because you don't know what's going to happen next. It's that whole thing of every time you roll the dice,
You just kind of close your eyes and hold your breath to see what's going to happen, and it's usually much bigger than anything you ever anticipated.
Ready? Yeah.